Considered a public community meeting. There's time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda item remarks to the public. Roll call.
Mrs. DeTore, Mr. Douglas,
Here.
Mr. Katowski,
Here.
Dr. Phelps,
Here.
Mr. Thorson.
Here. We all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Stop! Netflix!
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Netflix! Netflix! Netflix!
Okay, do I have a motion for approval of the agenda? Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
Mr. Katowski,
Yes.
Dr. Phelps,
Yes.
Mr. Thorson.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for June 9th, 19th, and 30th? So moved. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, any discussion on the 9th first? Okay, 19th? And then 30th. Okay, roll call?
Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
Dr. Phelps,
Yes.
Mr. Katowski,
Yes.
Mr. Thorson.
Yes. Okay, presentations? Kevin?
Thank you. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Kevin Finfrost, and I'm with the All Sports Camp. I'm very excited to share some information about a program called SWAG, Students with a Goal, for consideration for the Board of Education tonight. The SWAG program is a partnership with the following organizations: the WestGBrd Local Schools, the Cleveland Clinic, the All Sports Camp, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Our vision in this program is to create a world-class model of pediatric wellness and academic support for students in Lindsay and Westwood schools by combining leaders in the medical and educational communities. Quick facts about the program. Our program is a before and after school program in addition to a summer program. This year we're launching a 2014-2015 school year at Westwood and Lindsay Elementary Schools. The Cleveland Clinic. We're excited about this partnership with the Cleveland Clinic. Their role in the program is to create a wellness program for the students. And essentially the wellness program is centered around something they call 5 to Go. And 5 to Go indicates that, or it helps students set goals and motivates students to eat 5 fruits and vegetables every day, to give 4 compliments, get 3 sources of calcium, limit the media to 2 hours, which we understand could be a real challenge for parents at home. We think it's a worthy goal, and also to get an hour of exercise. In addition, to consume 0 sugar sweetened drinks. The Cleveland Cavaliers in the program, their role, they will be providing the students in the before and after school program literacy activities, and they will also give students a chance to enter drawings to win Cleveland Cavalier tickets if they hit certain academic benchmarks. In addition to that, the Cleveland Cavaliers will be providing a drawstring backpack for each participant in the program. And who knows, maybe their new free agent they signed may come over and help motivate the kids in the program. The All Sports Camp. The All Sports Camp will provide staffing with the program. We'll facilitate between the different groups. We'll also provide curriculum activities, which were designed from physical education teachers and varsity sports coaches, and oversee the quality assurance of the program. we really approached this project, we're very excited about this project. We approached the project in a spirit of service, in that we are here to serve the West Geauga local schools. We're here to serve the students and the parents. I think, very simply put, we feel that this program is good for kids. It promotes healthy living in their daily lives. It helps motivate, it helps set goals. It also, I think, assists parents who, with their various schedules, may have a need for a before and after school program, but also for the parent that may need a little extra help with getting homework done or trying to promote a healthy lifestyle for their son or daughter. For the school system, it will create an alternative revenue stream, and I think it supports the mission of the school system to become a top 5 school district in 5 years. And I think the reality of it in schools across Ohio, the expectations have never been higher, the funding has decreased, and I think the school systems that are going to flourish are school systems that partner with local community organizations such as Cleveland Clinic, such as Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll talk a little bit about, we're working on a partnership with the local university, John Carroll University, that will come in and provide some tutoring for students and possibly some intensive intervention for students who may be on the border of passing those 3rd grade reading guarantee requirements. We anticipate that to possibly start in the spring or next year, but that's a partnership that we are extremely excited about. Now this next slide could be a lot of different things. This could be the 2nd grade teacher who has 26 students in their class and trying to get them all to a proficient level. This could be the parent trying to juggle all the responsibilities of family life and getting kids where they need to be and to the different practices and the homework done. And we think that with the SWAG program, as I said before, we're here in the spirit of service and to be helpful, and we think that this program, we're extremely excited about it. We think that this program can be helpful not only to teachers, to parents, to students, but the surrounding community at large. And at this time, I'll entertain any questions that anyone may have. I'm very grateful to be able to present this information and grateful to be on the agenda for consideration for all of you.
Great. Kevin, anybody have any questions?
Sure. What are we being asked tonight then?
So tonight, what we're being asked to do is to essentially establish a contract or partnership that we would provide these services at Westwood and Lindsay Elementary Schools.
Did you see that in your packet?
No, I did not see the contract. So with the 374 pages, I missed that.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I wish I'd seen that.
No problem.
I would have been able to review it. Yeah, so I'll have to ask you some questions. The first is the partnership, clinics, cabs. Thanks, Dan. So we get 6% of the receipts. Is your organization, All Sports Camps, is that a for-profit or a non-profit?
It is a sub-S corporation for-profit.
Okay. And who else are you doing this for?
We have, right now, we're in Northeast Ohio. We have partnerships with Walsh University, with Akron Children's Hospital, and with Akron General. And we are been operating summer camps for the past 10 years. Our first partnership was with Walsh University, and we've evolved over the years from summer camps into before and after school services.
So you do it for various school districts?
Yes.
Do you have some of those school districts on the tip of your?
Sure. Yeah, we do it for green local schools. Next year we are offering before and after school services.
Okay. And when you say a partnership with the say with the clinic or with the cabs, I mean, it's not like they have an equity in it, right? I mean, how do they have a relationship with you that they're partnering?
So, I'll give you an example with the programs that we talked about with the 5 to Go. So the Cleveland Clinic would create that program, and it's their goal to try to get that into the local schools, and we would be essentially a vehicle as part of our role is to help get this into schools. with Akron Children's Hospital, whom we have a relationship for. Again, they come up with the program and the wellness component and work through and we work together to deliver that to students.
So when, for instance, if John Carroll partners, if they do tutoring, does that mean John Carroll students would come in as volunteers?
That's correct. So in this
So it would literally be John Carroll University. It would be student volunteers from John Carroll tutoring our kids.
So this is, and we had a great, and as I said, I want to preface this with this is in the discussion phases with Dr. Rosemary, who is the Dean of Education at John Carroll. And it's really modeled after the model that we have in our summer camps, where we have students that are in pre-education classes at Walsh University, and they come over supervised by their professor. And what they do is they pull the students and work with students in small groups, and students get free tutoring and free instruction. So we talked to John Carroll, and what kind of our vision of this in the project is those students would then come as a part of our before and after school program, and they would give free instruction, and they would embed that into one of their education classes. And that's the hope, that's the vision. We don't have everything finalized at this point. And I think the other neat thing, Bob, with this partnership that we've discussed with John Carroll is that we've also talked about doing, could lead to a lot of different things. They talked about possibly a desire down the road to come in and do on-site professional development for WestGBrd teachers, which I think is something that's very exciting. We've also talked about doing a partnership with Cleveland Clinic, where possibly doing some type of neuroscience research to see how the brain reacts to different interventions, and not having that maybe sit on the shelf in a medical facility, but try to apply that and to begin a discussion with educators for how they can learn that. So there's a lot of exciting things and that we're talking about and trying to pull in a local university.
Yeah. Now this would sort of work as, for some parents, a before and after school care.
Correct.
So it would be a service we'd be offering to parents who need this, as well as the educational components.
Yes.
And I haven't had time to look at this contract, but is what we get basically the 6% of gross receipts rather than an actual rent on the buildings?
That's correct.
And what's your target for the number of kids?
It's difficult to say. I think that we anticipate one of our biggest what we'd like to do after today is to get the word out, is to have people to learn, to be able to answer questions such as yours, and it would be kind of, we'll see. What we have found in Northeast Ohio when we started with Walsh, we started with 24 people a week, and we've grown to hosting nearly 1,200, 1,500 kids throughout the summer. So we feel very confident that we've worked very hard to be able to provide services to parents and kids that are healthy and promote healthy living and support them academically. And we see no reason why we couldn't do that much younger.
Kevin, and if I may, Denise, is there a need in our district for something like this? I mean, do we have anything in play like this?
Well, we have nothing on site. We haven't for some time. And part of the reason for that was we weren't offering anything in the summer. And for parents to take advantage of any type of program, they needed the summer care too. And so that left them no choice but to go outside.
Right. And we ended that, in fact, just before I moved in 2001. So it was roughly, 14 years ago that ended, 15?
It's quite a while.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, one of the things that when we bought the house, we bought our house and moved in a few years later because we rented it out. But one of the things that attracted us to the district was there was before and after care in the schools. So, this is a really great thing. I was wondering, Michael, is there anything in our contract with the custodians or anything that we're going to incur more costs with, or do we have to get a custodian on site, or what do we?
I think Kevin can answer that.
Absolutely. We want to bear that burden, if you will, of cleanup. We understand that custodian personnel in schools have an awful lot on their plate, and we want to be respectful of that. And so, what the arrangement that we have is that we will bears the burden of those things, because let's face it, young students, there's going to be things to clean up.
And Denise, again, I don't want to put you on the spot, but, you know, being able to utilize your experiences as long as you've been in the district and seen these kind of things, again, is this something that could be very beneficial to our district, do you think?
Well, I think it's even more beneficial now because more parents are working. And what we've seen is students are either, if they're not going to a daycare, especially as they get older, they're going home alone, or they're going to the library and overcrowding our library because there's no place else to go until mom and dad get home. And so I really feel it's necessary.
See, this third grade initiative is really an interesting piece for me. You know, parents could actually get some extra help there, promoting a little healthier lifestyle. I thought it was just all a plus. Then you add the component of revenue streams. Revenue streams for the district is, again, as we look at, you know, decreasing funding from all different directions, and it just was a huge plus. I left the meeting and talking to them thinking, what's the downside? So the district can use it, get a revenue stream, and it's helpful to kids, which is certainly my first statement. It's helpful to kids. And then the revenue stream.
We will often hear parents say they get home and then there isn't very much time before they're going to an evening activity to do homework. This gives them an opportunity to do that.
Yeah. The agreement itself, though, doesn't seem to say anything about the services you're offering. There's nothing in agreement about the services. And so, shouldn't that be an agreement with what services you're going to be providing? Because we're only taking 6%. I mean, that's minuscule. You know, a lot of people have the overhead on rent at a way higher rate. I mean, if you're operating a business, you can, you know, easily see your rental being much higher. And I'm okay with the 6%, but we could put something in there specifying the services we offer. Would you be comfortable with that? Because those are you know, and would the board be comfortable with that? I don't want to delay it, but we wouldn't be delaying it by much. I mean, just till the next board meeting.
Michael, have you had a chance to take a look at this?
I have, and I wanted to answer that question also, but I had a question about, you speak, I know we have several parents in the room that would want to know about safety and the credentialing process that you put the people that would be involved in this program.
Sure, thank you for that question. And not to, or I want to make sure that I do answer that question. You know, our services are, you know, something that we've been providing for 10 years. They're part of this program, of this initiative, and certainly something that we intend to carry out. And to go to your question, Mr. Douglas, in terms of safety, one of the things that we pride ourselves and we feel that is very important is that everything that we do needs to be aligned with the mission and the policy of the school district. So in terms of safety, that we would follow the protocols of the elementary schools in terms of dismissal, drop-off, and pick-up, and those types of things. And even to take it a step further, our rules are essentially going to be an extension of what the school's rules are. Anything else in our mind we don't feel would be very effective. We're not trying to come in and to establish our own rules and set of protocols. We're going to learn the school system's rules and protocols and follow them.
Yeah, I think this is great. I think, though, we need more specificity because this is a 7-year agreement. I mean, if we did a 1-year trial run, you know, if we had very short-term agreements, but this agreement is for 7 years. So I would really like to see us get more specificity in there, nail down what's going to be done, who's responsible for repair of facilities if things are damaged and so on. Who's responsible for, are you going to take over the pool and so on over here that the WestG summer camp uses, the recreational?
Not
going to do that because operating summer camp?
It's actually a program that I think is completely different than what we offer today. I'd like to see it as something that we do in conjunction with that.
Yeah.
Not meant to abolish
yeah, I
that
think it's
program,
great.
but as an augmentation.
I'd just like to see a little more detail in the contract. I'd like to see terms of cancellation. For non-compliance. I'd like to see it detailed what your camp is going to offer, what services it would offer to the children. I'd like to see in there what facilities you're going to be using, and possibly an escalation clause. If we get more than a certain number of students, we get a bonus. Because, you know, like I said, 6% is really low, and if you're providing these services, it's wonderful, because it can be our educational program. That's not a bad thing. And I think we should also have the qualifications of staff in there. You know, I mean, obviously, state law has certain qualifications that they place on you, so you're going to be compliant with that, of course. So, you know, I'd just like to see something on qualifications. So, I'm really for it. Just a little more detail, and we'll have a wonderful agreement. It's really exciting. Thank you.
Tom, have you got any questions?
I had a couple. What was the times like during the school year, the morning and evening? How?
We were looking at starting as early as 6:30 in the morning and going as late as 6:30 in the evening. And what we have found over the years is that the more flexible we are in time, the more helpful that is to parents.
Is there, how do they work? Is there a ratio, like what's the maximum capacity and what would be the providers to kids ratio?
Sure.
Like,
And right now what our target is one student to, or I'm sorry, one teacher to 12 students.
Do you think that you could answer some of Mr. Potowski's concerns for
Yeah, I think a lot of those things that we do, in terms of our counselors, we have FDI and BCI, we go through a hiring process, much like a school district would go. We're certainly open to those things. I think the one, being that it is this late in July, and if this is something that we are going to start 2014, 2015, I think the time is of the essence in terms of getting the word out. So I mean, certainly open to adding, some of those things, and I guess there's no questions that are concerned from my end. And, we've been operating since 2004. We've worked with Walsh University, Akron Children's Hospital, Akron General. So we have a very professional organization, and that's the way we run things. And I'm certainly open to all those things.
Kevin, let me put this on you then. Because you want to advertise and you want to be able to do that kind of stuff. And Mr. Potowski has certainly some decent concerns. Do you have a pretty good understanding of his concerns, what he's looking for? Do you think that you could provide this board with those questions and kind of answers and the platform that Mr. Potowski has looked for and say like a week time frame or so?
I can do it in 30 minutes if you like.
Okay. So in continuing forward, then let's make sure that we can get that done. Feel free to reach out to Mr. Potowski. Maybe the two of you can open a dialogue. And then you can kind of, be sort of eyes and ears to the board to kind of make sure that we get all the questions answered. And we'll look to do something very soon for you if it's good fit. Fair enough?
Thank you very much.
was it at,
Thank you
was it at
for
both,
your question.
I'm sorry.
was it at both schools at Westwood and Lindsay? And then,
Yes.
So it would be at both? Okay. That's what I thought.
Very good. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you very
Appreciate it. Thank you. Les, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good, good. I'm Wes Roby. I serve at the high school as a social studies teacher as well as the energy hour. And I have new members. I always give a yearly energy savings report, so I thought I think an opportunity to give you guys a little history of it since I was familiar with it. But we began an energy conservation program back in 2008. And at this time, we've roughly saved about $1 million in energy costs. If they set something on your desk there for you. And I have some here if anybody else would like some. I gave you two sets of numbers here, one with weather adjusted, one with non-weather adjusted, and backed out the cost of the program. Initially, for the first 4 years of the program, we were paying a company called Energy Education. I think in the year, $80,000 a year to help us do this. That contract expired, but we are now entering our second year out of contract, so we don't have to pay them anymore. We can still get the savings from it. I put weather in there, obviously, with this past winter. I have software that adjusts the figures based on what we would have spent had we done things the way we had always done. I threw a few graphs in there on the other pages there. The top blue line is our baseline. That was our first year before the program began, our electricity usage. And as you can, and then on the next page, I just did the baseline with this year, so it's not so simple, so you can kind of get an idea. We've kind of settled into a little institutional use right there where we're getting pretty comfortable and things are working pretty well. I gave you a natural gas one as well. That's obviously very weather dependent. But you can see the vortex there in December We rose considerably, but it could have been far worse. But at the end of the day, our job is to use the district's resources wisely, keep the buildings as comfortable as possible, and use that money for education services. If you have any questions, I'd love to.
You gotta help me out, because again, it's a learning curve.
Sure.
Because I saw the agreement that we'll enter in with the Travis County.
That's for me, yes.
That's for you.
Myself.
Okay, and that's, you're also a teacher? Okay. So this is like a supplemental for you, okay. What kinds of things do you, and again, just kind of teach you, what kinds of things do you do that saves us $1.2 million?
I run our HVAC equipment. We do it from remote. I can do it from my phone, actually. I often get calls during board meetings. I schedule things based on community events, whereas before things were just on, usually 5 a.m. till midnight, just in case somebody was here. And now we watch it very closely. We have very, very close control of our HVAC on the custodians. And I do want to emphasize how important custodians are in all of this. If you walk through any of our buildings during the day, you probably won't see a hallway light on. You'll just see a light on in the area that they're working. I inspect our buildings usually once or twice a week, not as much in the summer. During the school year, I usually make my rounds after hours, some things 10 o'clock. During the extreme weather, usually very early, 2, 3 in the morning type of thing, just to get an idea of what's going on. Develop plans for further savings. The biggest savings is our shutdowns. When we have long weekends, we unplug everything, especially in the summer. The summer is worth roughly, worth about $80,000. We can shut this unplugged refrigerators, instead of walking away with computers on and things like that. So that's Thanksgiving break, Christmas break. Even over those 10 days we were closed, even the weather, we were actually saving a little bit of money because hallway lights weren't on. I could back off on some of the heat in certain areas and things like that. So just taking advantage of opportunities.
It's amazing.
Hopefully without sacrificing anybody's comfort.
When I first looked at this, and again, I apologize.
No problem.
Wait, $20,000? What? Are you kidding me? Now I see we saved $1 million too. It kind of makes some sense.
I hope you don't think this is self-serving, but I usually make my salary back with a Thanksgiving shutdown.
Wow.
It usually happens pretty quick, and then it's just a matter of managing it and everything else is great. Now that we're not paying energy ed, and they still train me, I can still go to the training sessions, and they're there for support. We've been recognized by Energy Star multiple times. It's been tougher to get them out here to verify, but we're always in there. The data would qualify us. I just can't get an engineer out here all the time to qualify it. And we earned the green ribbon as well as our blue ribbon, which as soon as I went down here, I'm driving to DC to join some colleagues so we can get that.
No, not at all. Congratulations.
It's been a great opportunity, I think, for allowing me to serve. So I hope that can continue.
How will the new units in Lindsay, will that help our performance? Because I know we pretty much replaced, 2 or 3?
Yeah, Jim's probably the guy. Yeah, the newer units are more efficient. We still run them the same, but some of the older
Didn't
ones.
we replace 2 or 3?
I know we did the
We replaced 4 in the past.
4. Yeah, that should help.
And
This
we're
isn't to be on lazy.
continuing to do so. Yeah, because most of the majority of our units are 1996 vintage, so they've reached about their lifespan.
Jim, are there any more that we have scheduled to sort of replace, or do we replace them as they become efficient?
Well, we have a PM plan in place. We do it twice a year, before the heating system, or before the heating season, and before the cooling season. And as a result of that maintenance agreement, then they determine for me what units need major repairs, and there's a cost factor involved, of course. Once you reach a certain plateau with cost repairs, then you make a decision whether or not you replace as opposed to continue to repair.
Awesome. So, we should be pretty set for...
Oh, absolutely. The older equipment's less efficient, and again, we still want to run it as efficiently as we can and make it last another 10, 15 years, hopefully.
Gentlemen, any questions? Excellent presentation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Turf.
My presentation's pretty easy. I just wrote a check.
A large check.
This is presented to the board as the first installment of the repayment of the loan for the turf.
Very nice. $200,000. Very, very nice. run us through the... Thank you very much, Tom. Thank you. And as hopefully the community can see, we have dirt now. Very diligently on the dirt.
We're on schedule.
Very nice. I also met with the turf committee. They're looking at the restrooms on the stadium side. If you've seen an event here and had to use the restrooms in the stadium, they haven't been improved in a long period of time. There's grass to walk up to them, and as you know, towards spring and fall, that becomes mud. And so the boosters and the Gridiron Club have looked in, as well as some individuals from the community, at how they might make improvements there. It was a tremendous meeting. They've got some great ideas, and as we go forward, I'm sure they'll like to make some presentations of what we might be able to do. But, great job there. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Okay, we're moving into the remarks of the public section. And I'll just remind everybody, all persons wishing to address the board have a 5-minute limitation. Please state your name, address, and topic. Now, please, we've done a great job of being respectful. I want to continue that. This isn't a question and answer section. This is for the board to understand what the community is concerned about. And please step up to the microphone here and just let us know what your concerns are. Howard?
I remember several meetings ago.
Howard? Name?
Howard Checker, Russell Township.
Thank you.
And I remember several meetings ago, we thought you increased the capacity for open enrollment. And I was wondering if you could release, as part of your fiduciary responsibility, how you calculated capacity, and if that capacity in any way involves spending real estate tax funds from the residents of the WestGBrd School. You can release those numbers. I mean, because when you increase capacity, at those meetings, you never submitted any public commentary into that. So if you provide how you figure capacity, what our capacity is, or over capacity, or under capacity, if you have room for 100 kids, 200 more kids, or if we're 50 kids over. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Mr. Mandel.
Bernie Mandel, Russell Township. On July 2nd, I made a request for documents regarding, first of all, I've got a comment that I think the turf committee has done a fantastic job. They really have. And what I'm about to say has nothing to do with their job, nor with the turf, because I'm 100%, 110% for the turf. In fact, I've had my WestGBrd soccer club make a substantial donation. I convinced others on my request, but my message to the board of procedural matters. For example, I had, as I said, on July 2nd, I requested documents, all the documents with regard to the turf. And that's what my request was for, was procedural matters. For example, it seems that after reviewing the documents that the original motion to accept the gift and so forth, I don't think it was procedurally correct. First of all, it was in the expenditure of going on hook for $640,000 is not in the budget. I think the budget has to be amended in order to cover that, and it hasn't been. Also, I don't think that the motion itself authorized Mr. Thorson to sign the agreement. It just said that Mr. Russo should look at the specifications. In reviewing the contract itself, I don't know if it was sent to an attorney to look at it or not, but it's really deficient in this contract. For example, there's no provision in there for the contractor to have insurance, nor to even indemnify us if they hurt somebody with one of their machines. We're going to be claiming against them. That should have been in the contract. There are other things there that are deficient, and I think that the attorney should have gone over. What I am wondering is on July 14th, I received an email from Mr. Kilroy chiding me for making a request for these documents. I had a legitimate reason for making the request. I'm at a loss to understand how Mr. Kilroy even found out I made the request. There's only 3 people in my knowledge that knew about it, and that's Shauna, Michael, Nutter, and yourself. And that's it. Obviously, there's some sort of chain going. If there is a way to get on the list, to get a copy of every request made for documents, I'd like to get on that list. I don't understand why Mr. Kilroy hasn't been notified. On another note, I understand that Mr. Thorson has embarked on a crusade to break the severance contract of Mr. Palmer. I cannot and will not comment on the substance of the matter. That's not my doing. However, Mr. Nutter on his own or by direction of Gursky and Mr. Thorson has become involved in the process. He's called and talked to the Westlake treasurer, for example, about Mr. Palmer. He's also had communications with Mr. Gursky about this adventure. Mr. Nutter is supposed to work only 3 days a week. I don't know if his involvement in these extraneous matters is taking away from his limited time that he should be spending on educational and administrative matters. I certainly hope and advise the board concerning Mr. Palmer that before this matter escalates, that legal counsel be consulted and probably should go to the county prosecutor to consider such things as interference with contract by calling Westlake, and I don't know what that's going to do. The probability that such an action will succeed and the probable cost for the school district. Those are my things. I'd also like to report that our former treasurer, Michelle Soule, just signed a new contract with the Buckeye local school district. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Bernie, it was just a rumor at the time, but thank you for confirming that you did do a public records request. I think it's important that the board probably help put out the information when they're accused of excessive legal bills and or whatever, and people make public records requests, and then they rescind them because, well, maybe they found out that there were problems within sunshine law violations that might indict people. But I think it's hypocritical to make requests, pull requests, complain about legal bills, make new requests, complain about legal bills. It's easy to cast stones from the sidelines, but true courage demands action. Running for the board and running for an open seat. And I would like to thank the board for starting a turf project and for, as my understanding, working on the alumni position, which are two key project and position essential in helping WestG to return to the top 5 ranking, a ranking that honored WestG held for years and years, and a ranking that slipped away about 10 years ago. I appreciate what you're doing as a taxpayer and as a citizen.
Do we have any other comments from the public? Okay, thank you. Treasurer's report.
I have my June financial reports, June checks, and the supplemental appropriations. Also, I want to let you know your fiscal year 14 audit started today. I have auditors in all week for last fiscal year, and then when they're done this week, they'll come back in October for another week. So if you guys have any questions with the audit, you can contact me.
So do we need a motion for the supplemental appropriations?
Yes.
I make a motion that we approve the supplemental appropriations. Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call. Or excuse me, discussion. Okay, roll call.
Mr. Thorson?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Katowski?
Yes.
Dr. Phelps?
Yes.
Okay, moving to standing committee. Thank you for your report. moving to standing committee. I don't know that we've had any committees, especially in the summertime, it's been a little bit quiet. I do want to, maybe in the standing committee, it's a little highly unusual. I wanted to thank you guys for going to the meeting on Saturday in Columbus. I think that was excellent. You took your time to do that. And look forward to maybe even possibly on the retreat, hearing some of the information you can bring back and share with the board. Thanks for spending that time and doing that. But we, Tom, if you had a personnel meeting, I don't really know of any meetings that we've had this summer, so I think we can move right into the superintendent's report. Okay, superintendent's report. Mr. Water.
Thank you. First of all, you'll see under the recommendations, there's a rehire issue. I guess back on May 28th, there was a statement regarding Barbara Van Etten. So we did that. Just she needs to reemployment date of August 18th. So we need to have just a public hearing piece for that here. If there's a reason that she should not be hired, I don't have anything to prove otherwise, but you just have to follow protocol.
Okay. So how would it, if you don't mind, how would that look? What would that look like?
It's under recommendation.
Okay.
Just tell me. The intent is to reemploy her.
Okay. So when you're saying public hearing,
This is it.
something.
This will be
This is the public.
This is the public hearing.
Okay.
When we get
Does
to
anybody
that.
have any comments on what direction or another? Who was the administrator for? What school is she working for? Was she?
She's an inspection specialist.
Administrative specialist. Yeah. As her supervisor, would you have any reason why we wouldn't want to do that?
Bart's been with us for a number of years. She's wonderful.
And should continue to be.
Always puts kids
I
first.
think that's all I need. Thank you, Mr. Kish.
That was my understanding as well, but it's one
Excellent.
these are a little unusual at times. So.
Okay. No problem.
Also, under recommendations, you'll see that we've hired the Director of Technology, Sean Whalen, or the recommendations to employ him tonight. Sean Whalen is from what I understand, a tremendous teacher and has been working with the technology this past year. Mr. Whalen will assist in the tech replacement schedules. We'll reactivate the tech committee. We'll look at the technology plan moving forward. And also, as we move into year 2014-15 school year, we really need to embed technology within the curriculum. And I think we give an offset to that. So when you see that on there, that is why we made that move to that. And Katie, he's also highly recommended from the staff here and people that closely work with them. So on your approval, that would be his new positions. But I want to give everybody a little bit of background.
And I will say for the board, I had a chance to meet Mr. Whalen. I didn't know him prior to this. He had worked as it was kind of a position we created for him last year. And we were going to lose a very good asset to the board, to another school district. We were able to retain him and be able to take care of an issue we don't have. Currently, we don't have any plan, as I know, to replace our computers, to any kind of technology plan whatsoever. As you're looking at what we're doing as far as technology, how would you say we fare?
I think we've got some work to do. I think looking into the future, I think there's some things talking to Mr. Whalen, there are some issues that need to be addressed, and there's some planning that needs to take place.
So I think it was a great move for us to be, or one, not to lose really homegrown talent, if you will, but more importantly, to create a position for him where he could have a greater platform to do some more things. I was incredibly impressed with what he had in mind in talking with him, and I had received a number of different emails from our staff just to say, please don't lose this guy. And again, it was a pretty good coup for us to keep. So.
Were we going to lose him? I was here at the time. That wasn't a conversation, actually. I mean, we may have been, in danger of...
He had a second interview with another school district.
I didn't know about that. We actually created that position because we wanted to integrate curriculum with teaching, and that was the whole reason for creating that position. I was not aware he was going to leave. I'm glad we kept him. Sean Whalen is a great person and excellent educator. So
yeah, we were definitely going to lose him. Second interview, and we kind of hustled to make sure that we at least got our foot in the door, and not only get the foot in the door. I think we retained an excellent employee. So we're pretty excited.
And also, the alumni, we have a alumni liaisons on the recommendation tonight as well. And Kim, are you still here? She was here. And I apologize ahead of time for her last name. It's Radizak, I believe. That is her name. She's being recommended for the alumni liaison. This person will be responsible for developing the alumni program, mailings, reunions, phone-a-thons, anything that you could do. I think anytime you can get alumni behind your school, get an alumni association as you move forward to help out and assist. And you've got some new classes coming to the building, or they did to the building this month. So that person there will help coordinate all those different items, and they'll be in charge of some fundraising, science funds, and tech funds, and things like that. So it's a part-time position. But
The board approved it 2 months ago, and so
the job description.
I think it's excellent. I think it's an excellent hire. Again, I got a chance to meet her. You know, going back to one of the alumni groups that wanted to utilize the facilities here. One day they just walked through and we said no. I mean, to our alumni, we said no. Just because we don't have anybody in that position, anybody that coordinates that sort of thing. And so I don't think we ever want to do that sort of alumni. I think we want to embrace them and bring them back to the community and where we can. And again, I think it was just a matter of an oversight, because we didn't have somebody here. So I think she's going to do tremendous. We have great plans for her. And with Mike's experience at other school districts and things they have done with alumni coordinators, I think it's going to be a worthwhile position. Again, we did it as a part-time position. It's sort of a one-year kind of deal to see if that really works out for us. But again, I think it's going to be something that we grow. So we're pretty excited about that.
And moving on, as far as next year, our intent is to move to school messenger. We've been with Blackboard, and school messenger is your one-call systems, or your alert now systems. Currently, we don't have really good capabilities of every individual administrator communicating with their buildings. Right now, we run one or two people sort of control the whole school as far as we get some message out. So this will enable us to communicate better. It will also give an application on your mobile phones for you to use in the community, and also should save several thousands of dollars when you compare apples and apples. So I'll let Mr. Whalen explain that at the next meeting in detail. So there'll be some good things come out after. But that's another thing as we move forward. As far as the presentations here tonight, I have to thank the boosters and the turf project and those people. That's a lot of work been involved in those before. Our energy savings, Mr. Russo, I mean, that's once again another large savings. And as far as going back to the all sports camp, Mr. Thorncroft, thank you for coming. And yes, I've known Kevin for several years. Of course, after 20 years in education, I pressed to find anybody I didn't have in education. But I do know that he runs a good program. I've seen it run out of Walsh before. My own kids were through it at one point in time. So whatever happens with that happens. But I think it's good programs for the class. What we try to do here is help kids. So the bottom line at the end of the day, we try to move forward. We're just trying to help kids here. So basically that is as we head on, try to find more efficient ways around this district that are better for kids and utilize the maximum potential dollars that we have. So that's sort of legal calls moving forward. That's all I have.
Okay, has everybody had a chance to look at some of the PSI service agreements, key education group? Are there any questions? We're making recommendations that we go forward with these, correct?
Well, once we get to the recommendations, we'll have to do that.
Thank you. Thank you. Report-wise, have you had a chance to, you've been here about a month now. The environment for the administration office and had a chance to get to know everybody, getting a good idea of what everybody does, have a good feel for what everybody does.
Yeah, I think it's time moves forward. I think if there's time to reorganize or look at different placement or structures, delivery systems and delivery models, and I've had that conversation with some of my staff already. As we move forward, things aren't always the same. When things change, we must evolve as well. So, like we talked about, there's been talk about levies in the future and spending, spending deficit, 5 years out. We've had that conversation. But yeah, as we move forward, like I said, if you can streamline, I've done that before, you can streamline, your operation and get, put the resources driving back in the kids' hands in the classrooms. Those are all good things. So, we try to create more revenue streams, similar to, the all sports camp is one of them, and also restructuring and, redefining people's roles as we right order.
Okay, we look forward to seeing what your recommendations will be. So, superintendent's recommendations. We have our rehire, retire. I think we're good there.
Yes, the personnel, the retire, rehire, we've covered the personnel. We discussed a little bit. So Mr. Raylan and Kim are being recommended. We've got your community education agreement, which I do believe they coexist. They would work all well together with all sports camp. The key in education agreements, those are satellites, if you will. St. Anselm. The PSI service agreement is on a nursing agreement. That is an agreement that is for, if you look at it, for the LGBT speech. And then you've got your performance contract for the,
that was just West, correct?
And then the auxiliary services and staffing contract is our auxiliary service, and then all sports camp is on there, but we have to have an issue with that.
That sounds like we need a little more information before we feel comfortable making a move forward. I had a question with community education agreement. Sean, I hate to put you on the spot, but they have an arrangement with us where we receive 25% of, I think, the revenue. Do you know what that generally is, or could you report to the board in the future what kind of dollars we receive from the Chagrin Falls Department of Education, their service agreement with us, because they're using our facilities for adult education, correct?
I'd have to look into that and get back to you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That wasn't really fair. Because I read through this, and actually, I'm somewhat familiar with this program, and maybe Ben, you can speak to this. Do you know what kind of revenue stream we receive those? Because as I'm looking at all sports and thinking about what they have seen their proposals and what they're looking for, what do we receive from the community education piece, or do we receive anything at all?
As far as I know, and that is very little. My impression was, maybe some people in the audience, I didn't think we really knew much of anything on it.
Because they have the profits remaining after expenses. So SG, it's like 25. They get 3/4 of the profit for running the programs, advertising the programs, and then for us to present them, we get 25%.
All I recall was basically no profit.
And we had looked at it and we had talked about that. The alumni portion being combined with the community education and taking the community education back from Chagrin. We had looked at that, but it was in, I think the revenue was in the 100, like 100 or 2. It was very little, and the net gain was, I thought we were less than that. There wasn't a lot of use of revenue.
Yeah, they could give us 50% of the revenue and we wouldn't get much of it.
Right. And that they wouldn't have supported the full half-time salary.
I mean, some of the projections from all sports that I was looking at was $35,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year. We're talking like in this thing we're going to approve, it's pretty minimal. I mean, it's okay. I just didn't know. You know what I mean? Okay. Any questions, guys?
Was that including in there? You said it wasn't. So that was all.
This had nothing to do with it.
Right.
That's why I wanted to identify.
That's what I thought.
That's like PSI was that special ed? Was reading through it like learning or something like that? Or? Yeah, I'm sorry. Like Ben, there were a lot of pages on this.
School site,
Okay.
SLP, whether identified in the bookmarks, but
Okay.
include them, SLP,
Okay.
site services.
Do I have a motion to recommend all of the items for superintendent's recommendation with the exception of all sports camp agreement, which we will get some more information on and look at it further? Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have a roll call?
Mr. Katowski?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Dr. Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Thorson?
Yes. Okay, announcement of the next board meeting will be August 18th, 2014 at 7 p.m. It will be here in the community room. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Roll call.
Mr. Chowski?
Yes.
Dr. Phelps? Mr. Thorson?
Yes.